So we're live, guys. Welcome to episode 5 of the Digital Commando show. And today we have got a really great treat for you. So today is our hashtag Friday Fitness, and we've got 3 guests coming on with me today. So who have we got coming on? Firstly, we have Robert Leat from Robert Leat Fitness. He is a PT and online coach, so he'll be talking to us today. We've also got Unwin. So he is a speaker, a coach, and the author of Family Fit. So if any of you were on last Monday, you would have seen Jay already. And then last but not least, we have Jessica. I'm going to say her name wrong. She's going to tell me off. She's probably beat me up. Jessica. Oh God, what did I say it's wrong? Fleischer. She'll say it in a minute, and then I'll get told off. Did I say it right? Yeah, that's good. So she is the 2-time English ladies kickboxing champion, and also she runs I Am Fighting Fit. So they'll probably talk to you a bit more about that as well. So without further ado, let's bring them in. How you doing, guys? You all right?
Yeah, all good.
Good.
Good, thank you.
Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to very brief intro into, but it's obviously better for themselves. So, if we could start off with Rob, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi guys, hello to everybody tuning in. My name is Rob from Robert Leat Fitness. I'm a personal trainer, and at the moment I'm predominantly an online coach based in Bristol. I particularly help busy professionals who want to lose weight and kind of take back control of their health and fitness and find the time to exercise.
Fantastic. Cheers, Rob. We're going to switch over to Jay. That's right.
Hey, so I'm Jay Unwin, and I help people level up their mental and physical fitness through changing their daily habits and routines. So I've been working in the health and fitness industry for almost a decade, and the one thing that I found that really was the sticking point for people was not whether they were following the right diet or whether they were following the right workout program, but it was actually the kind of how to change their behaviors as a sustainable long-term thing. And that's where I kind of started getting interested in. And so that's what I help people do. I help people break it down to real simple daily routine, daily habit stuff. I'm looking forward to kind of chatting about that shortly. But yeah, break it down real simple and make it more achievable for people.
Fantastic. Cheers, Jay. And last but not least, Jess.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Morning. It's the morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jess, and I am Fighting Fit. So I'm a English kickboxing champion. So I coach kickboxing and boxing, but with a focus on fitness and fun. I specialize in working with women, offering ways for them to work out together online now. I've been a face-to-face coach for over 3 years, and I really focus on the mental health improvements of physical activity.
Superb. That's awesome. Thanks, Jess. Jay, you're right just to mute your microphone for a second. I think we're getting a little bit of feedback off your one. Wicked. Yeah, I think it's stopped now. All right, fantastic. Guys, once again, thank you very much for joining me. I'm really, really excited about today. I know it's a really hot topic from lots and lots of people. So let's get kind of stuck straight in. The first thing that would be great to talk about would be obviously you guys are super motivated in the mornings. Now, I like to class myself as quite a motivated, get up and go person, but you guys all put me absolutely to shame. So I think telling people a bit about your morning routines and how you get up and get ready to go. Obviously, you win quite fast-paced industries anyway. You have to keep fit and all the rest of it. So, Rob, if you'd like to start, kind of give us a bit of how you motivate yourself to get up and go in the morning.
So basically, the main thing that I use to motivate myself to get up in the morning is coffee. So I can't really do anything until I've gone to the kitchen, turned on an espresso machine, and made myself a coffee. And then once I've done that, and I've had breakfast, which kind of varies what I have. Really depends how awake I am. Like this morning, I had like a bagel with chicken. That was quite nice. And then once I've got out a bit of food, I've showered and everything, I'll then go to my laptop, start looking at my emails. Start having to think about what content could I create today. And yeah, I just kind of, I try and have a to-do list as well of things that I want to get done that day.
Awesome. Cool. We'll jump over to Jay. We'll unmute you now. Sorry, Jay, how do you get up and go in the morning?
So I'm not a big fan of motivation, interestingly. I think that motivation is a reliance on kind of feeling that you want to do something. So motivation is that kind of feeling of wanting to do something. And there are always going to be days when you don't feel like it. There's always going to be days when you aren't up for it, no matter how much of a motivated person you might be normally. There's always going to be days, and I know that the guys on this call will agree with me on this. There will always be days where you just cannot be bothered. And so for me, what I try and help people do is to automate as much behavior as possible. And it's a bit like kind of what we talk about a lot in business. I know a lot of people will be watching this are kind of, you're a marketing guy, and so there's a lot of people watching this who are in business, and there's a lot of talk about automating certain systems and things like that. And yet we don't tend to do that with our behaviors. Why not? If we make things as simple as possible and we make them automatic, then we're less likely to have to rely on motivation. So what I try and get to other people to do, what I try and get myself to do, is to make things as basic as possible so that they become as automatic as brushing your teeth. You don't have to get motivated to brush your teeth in the morning. You just do it, you just get on with it, and it feels more weird not to do it than to do it. And so if you can make other routines, such as doing some movement or drinking water or anything like that, it can become as automatic as brushing your teeth, and you don't have to be motivated to do it. So, for example, I keep a pint of water by my bed. The first thing I do in the morning, which has just become an automatic response for me, is I wake up, I pick up the glass of water, and I drink at least half of that before I've even made it to the bathroom. I finish it off either before or after I've had a shower, and that's just part of I don't even think about it. I don't have to be motivated to do that. Yes, you need a bit of discipline and a bit of motivation to get these things in place in the first place. But if you rely on it long term, you're setting yourself up to fail. So another example of that would be I do press ups and squats before I get in the shower. It's not a particularly demanding workout. Do like 10 or 15 of each. It's just a bit of movement to get the blood flowing, to get my brain switched on, to get a few endorphins going, and it's part of my routine. And it helps cement that identity of being a kind of healthy, active person. So for me, it really depends on. For other people, it'll be dependent on what their goals are, what their morning routine already looks like. But if you look at kind of little habits like that and then attach them to existing routines, such as getting in the shower or such as the time you get up, if you attach new habits that you want to install, if you attach them to existing habits as the cue to do them, then you're much more likely to make it automatic.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, Jay. I love that. I love that you mentioned the habit side of things, because we were talking about, we do a book club, and one of the recent books that we read was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and instilling those habits, especially within a morning routine, are so key. So I think that is some great content for people to go for. Okay, then, cool. Jess, on to you.
Hey, I'm going to follow up with the morning routine theme, but I'm just going to be completely honest and say I'm not one of these morning people. I know we are how we define ourselves, but there's a lot of pressure in business to be that 5 a.m. hustle club. That's not me. I work with a lot of women in business as well, and that doesn't work for them either. They have families, they have things that they have to do for themselves before they can get on with their business. The same can apply to your health and fitness. For me, I always make some time for myself first thing before I focus on my most important tasks and my to-do list. So very like Rob, I get up and I have coffee. And as Jay said, I've integrated a routine of writing my gratitude list while the kettle boils. So first thing, I need coffee, but in that time that would be wasted scrolling social media, I now make sure I don't check my phone until after I've written my daily gratitudes. I think that's important. It only takes 1 or 2 minutes, the same time it takes the kettle to boil, and then I've done that. My first positive for the day done. Then I enjoy some time with my first cup of coffee, just for me, my time. Then after I've finished my coffee, then I'm ready to crack on with my to-do list. So I think it's important to find some time for yourself in your day, whether that be in the morning or the evening. I'm always so busy in the evening. I'm always go with classes, getting things done. I don't have that go home after work and chill out watching Netflix over dinner. So I make time for myself in the morning, and I think that's okay too. But do set yourself up a routine. I do try to make sure every morning I get up around the same time, about 8 a.m. It's not super early, but it works for me. So I get that 8 hours sleep. I make sure I'm in bed by midnight and up by 8, sticking to a morning routine that works.
Superb, Jess. Thank you. I think, yeah, it is finding what works for you as an individual. I know me, I'm not a particular morning person. I work really late into the night. I think a lot of the guys in my industry, like the digital side, we're used to kind of working at night where we don't get distractions and we can kind of sit there and write lines of code and all that fun stuff that we do. So yeah, I think finding a routine that works for people is absolutely key to sticking at it, I think, isn't it? It's if it's something's really too uncomfortable, they're going to quickly break from those habits or those routines. So yeah, by doing it and making it comfortable at the same time, I think that's spot on. All right, cool. So the next thing that we wanted to go on to was people that can try and stay fit at home. Now, a lot of people are either, like myself, I'm used to going to the gym. So I would normally go to the gym, and now I can't go to the gym. I'm kind of like, what do I do? Like, I was a really keen swimmer. Like, swimming was my way of keeping fit. So what can people do at home to keep fit? Is there certain workouts? Is there things online they can use? Tell it. We will find out the answers. So Rob, if you're right to jump over to you first.
Yeah. So in my opinion, the thing where people go wrong is when they're a member of a gym, they'll do a lot of weight training. They'll do like cardio, and basically they do a lot of resistance training when they're at the gym. Yet as soon as they're now having to train at home, they go to these kind of jumping around your living room type of workouts where, you're doing like HIIT training. Whereas if you're not normally doing that in the gym, you should, why would you suddenly start like jumping around your living room just because you're at home? So my advice is to try and mimic as close as possible your normal training. So that involves doing exercises for reps rather than sort of intervals. Doing bodyweight exercises like squats, lunges, push-ups, that type of thing. But the ways that you can kind of make that harder is by, doing it for like a slower tempo or doing it for more reps and more sets. One piece of a kit I would say that is a good idea to invest in is resistance bands, because that gives you a few more options in terms of the exercise you can do. And it's also probably is much cheaper than if you were to go and buy things like kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells, etc. But still allows you to kind of mimic some of the movements that you do in the gym. So it's trying to mimic as close as possible your normal gym routine with what you've got at home. So whether that be you just do bodyweight exercises, or you invest in something like a set of resistance bands, or maybe you've got something like a heavy water bottle that you can fill up with water, or you've got some like books that have a little bit of weight to them.
Absolutely spot on. I think you've answered that question perfectly, actually, for Sarah Gibson, who's asked, obviously, what basic equipment would you use at home? So just to refresh on those ones, what were that? The resistance bands? So
resistance bands, that probably is like one of the low cost pieces of kit that you could get. You can get them from, it varies. Some are about 15 quid, or some places are selling them in like sets of 3 for about 30 quid. But that's probably a lot cheaper than things like kettlebells and dumbbells at the moment, because a lot of companies are kind of profiteering to an extent and jacking up their prices.
All right, wicked. So there you go, Sarah. So that is what you need to go and get. Right, let's jump over to Jay, who's going to tell us how you would recommend keeping fit at home.
So I first totally agree with what Rob said. If you've got a gym routine that you were following before, I think that it's definitely really valuable to mimic that, rather than completely changing up. Unless indeed you want to change your results and you want to change what you're working on in terms of, if you want to improve your fitness and you want to change the training style, then absolutely go for it. But yeah, there are ways of making things harder rather than just doing it faster, like Rob was saying. Another one, work, tempo, adding weight, all of that good stuff. I couldn't argue at all with what he said about resistance bands as well. I think that's definitely the bit of kit to invest in if you're starting out, because it's versatile and it's cheap. Like you said, Rob was spot on with that. For me, I'm going to come at this from a slightly different angle, just so that there's a bit more of a spectrum of different answers for different people who might be watching this. I'm going to come at this from a perspective of someone who maybe didn't have a gym routine before, someone who maybe wasn't in that place prior to this happening, and now they're just kind of feeling at a loss where they feel like they need to keep themselves healthy because maybe they're just a bit less active because they're stuck at home, or they're just starting out and they don't really know how to fit it into a daily routine. Now, for me, if you're just starting out, it's not always realistic to say, right, an hour's workout a day, or even 3 or 4 times a week, or even for a lot of people, 20 minutes, 30 minutes can seem really daunting and overwhelming. So what I encourage people to do is, again, like I said about doing the kind of tiny little bits of movement before getting in the shower, for example, the other thing you can do is have that in your day throughout the rest of the day. Now, Jess said about filling in, doing a gratitude journal while you make a coffee, and that's actually like a gratitude journal in the morning is something that I get my clients to do, and actually that's the time that I recommend they do it, is when they're making a coffee. So it's just really interesting to hear other people doing the exact same thing, which is really great. The other thing that you can do in those times, which would be dead time, like Jess was saying, that's just wasted on social media or just waiting for the kettle to boil, is you can do something which can be termed movement snacking. So rather than doing a big chunk of movement at some point during the day, you snack on that movement throughout the day. You do a little bit of movement. So, for example, while you're waiting for the kettle to boil, you could be putting your hands on the worktop and do some incline press-ups. So not press-ups from the floor, but just some press-ups from the work surface next to you, or some squats, or some lunges, or any other body weight movement. Very consciously, very kind of deliberate movement, like Rob was saying, not just backing it out for the sake of it. 5 good quality reps is better than 15 rubbish ones. So you can snack on movement. Every time you go through, you could leave your resistance bands out somewhere, for example, if you do have them. And every time you walk past them, you do a certain amount of overhead press, or you do a certain amount of rows, or you can set yourself up. You can engineer your environment by leaving bits of kit out, or by using bits of pieces of things you've got around the house, whether it's chairs or, like I said, the work surface or the back of your sofa or whatever, and build into your routine some points where you go, right, every time I do X, I will do Y. And then again, like the morning routine, you're anchoring a behavior, you're anchoring a habit to an existing habit or an existing event day, meaning that you're much more likely to do it. And it can become an automatic response where you almost don't even notice that you're doing the press ups when you're waiting for the kettle to boil, because it has become automatic. And then over the course of the day, that movement has built up to making your life a lot more active and a lot less sedentary than it could have been, which is probably for me would be the best place to start if you are a bit overwhelmed with trying to get an actual workout into your daily routine. Spread it out, snap on the movement instead.
I love that, Jay. I think that's absolutely wicked. I think I'll make a confession now, which is really bad. So I actually smoke, and so when I used to live in Canada when I was working in the military, and my boss did exactly this. So I suppose you could adapt what they did there to your home. And I remember every time I wanted to go for a cigarette, he was like, "Okay, so we want you to quit smoking, and we're going to incentivize you not to go for a cigarette as much. So before you leave," we were working like an operations room with all radios everywhere. He said, "When you leave the room, before you get to the door, you've got to do 30 press-ups. When you go outside, we just happen to have an outdoor pull-up bar in the smoking area. Before you have a cigarette, 10 pull-ups. Before you come back in, 10 pull-ups. Before you go back in the door, 30 more press-ups." So I was doing a workout every time I went for a cigarette, which was great. But it kind of got, at the beginning, I hated it. And I was like, oh my God, I could barely do 10 pull-ups. But by the end of like 6 months working there, I was smashing out pull-ups nearly with one arm. It was great. So yeah, it definitely works. I think I'm going to probably do that around the house. Just probably put a pull-up bar in between the kitchen and the office and do it every time I walk to and fro. So yeah, I think that's a great idea, doing things like that. All right, so let's jump over to Jess. I think we can actually see some of your fitness gear in the back, can't we?
Yeah, I turned my gym room also into my office to get away from the rest of the house. So this is where I do my workouts. This is also where I do the majority of my business because the house is too busy upstairs. So yeah, plenty of equipment for myself, but I also am aware that most of my clients don't have this. This is the accumulation of 8 years of kickboxing, slow investments, and dedicating a whole room of my house to it because it's important to me. So I'm going to follow on from what Rob and Jay said, and I'm definitely going to get some resistance bands because it's actually something I don't own. I've got one, but it's really weak. I use it for like Pilates type movements, but very, very rarely. And it wouldn't be very good for much. So I'm going to invest in that. But one of my points would be find something you enjoy. So I'm lucky that I've got some kettlebells. But personally, when I can't do heavy weights, I can't get to the gym, I really enjoy kettlebell workouts. So don't try to make yourself do a HIIT workout or an ab workout if you hate it. Find something that you actually want to do, that when you do it, you enjoy it and it makes you feel good. Don't just do it because, oh, I need to build a six pack, so I'll do 10 minutes of core. If you hate it, there's no point. You won't stick to that habit. And then moving on from that, I'm going to talk about find a class as well, because a lot of people are trying to get fit to keep active for their physical health, but there's the mental health benefits as well about from being part of a community. So a lot of the women that I coach, they come to my classes because it's time for them, time with other women, time to connect and work out together. So that's why I've created an online platform to keep women working out together, because we can follow online workouts at home on our own, anytime, any day. There's millions of them. But who wants to do that? It can be really hard to stay motivated on your own. So I've created this class format. And that also means I can tailor it more uniquely to what they're capable of. So they can ask questions as we go. I can adapt and modify any exercises, because if they're new, if it's a new gym routine to them and they're not physically very fit at the moment, they might struggle with some of these pre-recorded workouts. They might injure themselves. They might overdo it. They won't get the correct level of coaching, support and advice. So one of my biggest recommendations would be find a class, find a coach that's offering classes through Zoom or something. And then you actually get that specific advice to you as well. And you get to work out with other people at the same time, which for me is the highlight of my day. It's the highlight of my day to come down here in the evening, know that I've got that routine, 7 o'clock, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to go work out with my clients, with my friends. And it's lovely to work out together.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess. You just got a question coming actually from Maria, just asking how you got into kickboxing.
Well, how did I get into kickboxing? My boyfriend, basically. That's not really a very inspirational answer, is it? But he started doing it, and I liked the idea, but I had this self-doubt of I'm not fit enough to kickbox. When I started, honestly, I was useless. I couldn't even do one press up. But I'm quite determined, so I went along. I realised, yeah, this is tough, but I want to do it. So I stuck at it. I created these routines of I need to be able to do a press up if I want to be able to kickbox. So every day I tried, I worked on it. And by press up, I mean on my toes, like full press up. So I would start off just by going down as slowly as I could. And then I couldn't push myself back up. So I'd get back up and do it again until eventually I could do one press up. Then I set myself the goal of 3 press ups, 5, 10, carried on going. And it was just a slow journey. I've been doing it for over 8 years now. I didn't walk into the gym and say, I'm going to be a black belt and a champion and I'm going to coach this for the rest of my life. I just wanted to be able to do one press up to start off with. And I just carried it on for 8 years. So that's how I got to where I am today. Consistency.
Amazing.
And enjoying it, finding something you enjoy. So.
No, I think that's absolutely awesome. As for, we may as well drop this in here now. So have any of you guys got online courses? Just like kind of give me a wave if you're underneath. Is there products? You all have. Well, let's just quickly whiz around that. You guys can put in the comments as well, can't you? Right. Can you see that?
Let me see.
Does it let you post? If not, we can post.
No, I can see all the comments.
I can
see
do it
the
from
comments,
here.
but I can't. I can only post on our private chat.
That's all right. I can put it in for you. We'll just do a quick whiz round. So if anybody does want to work with you after this, they know how to get in touch with you. So Rob, if you just want to give the details quick.
So I have 2 coaching programs. So I have my lower price one and then I have my more premium one. So I've got my Lean with Leat group, which is basically a group to sort of hold you accountable, offer you advice. And then there's workout programs that go with that group. And then I have my one-to-one program, the premium one, which is basically at the moment I'm doing workouts over Zoom on a one-to-one basis with people. So yeah, check out those 2 programs. There's the Lean with Leat Basic and then there's the Lean with Leat Premium. Basically 2 different forms of accountability and 2 different price points.
Is there a website for that, Rob?
So it's rleat-fitness.com. And then if you go onto the top menu, there's a tab that says online training. I'll send you the link to that now. That's
all right. I've got it. It's in. There we go. There's the link for everybody. Right, let's jump over to Jay. Jay, what have you got for us?
So I've just finished this week doing a 5-day habit change challenge for free, which involved the basics. I've got kind of 4 pillars of habit change that I've developed over kind of the years of coaching that I've been doing. And I put together or restructured a mini course that originally was a one that I was selling, and then this was restructured as a 5-day challenge for free to show people how to put habits in place that are sustainable. So build the solid foundations for it. It's day 5 today. We've just finished it, or we're just finishing it off. It's been absolutely incredible. The number of people we had, 61 people start this at the beginning of the week. A few people drifted off. It wasn't the right time for them, so that's all good. We're having 50 people finishing it today, and it's just been phenomenal how much change that's made for people, and how before, when people have tried to make changes, or they've tried to do fitness programs, or they've tried to change their daily habits and their routines, they haven't been able to sustain it. They haven't been able to stick to it. And I've had so much feedback this week of how much benefit they've had and how it's been broken down to a point where they've been able to achieve things in 5 days that they weren't able to achieve ever before, even working with coaches for months at a time. And so what I've decided to do, it was kind of like, it was a bit of a test, it was a bit of an experiment, but it's gone so well that I'm thinking I'm probably going to do this again. Where are we now? We're in April, aren't we? So probably at the beginning of May, I'm going to do another one, another 5-day free challenge to get people changing their habits and giving them a plan that they can then take forward and act on. So the best thing for people to do, really, they can't sign up to it yet because, like I said, it's something which I've only just decided to repeat. The best thing to do is to stay in touch with me via social media, following my page, which I believe is in the caption on this video anyway. But the Facebook page, if people are on that page and they make sure they follow that and they kind of keep checking back, then when that news comes out of when I'm going to be recruiting people in for that next free challenge, which will be towards the end of this month, maybe in about 2 weeks' time, I'll start bringing people in for it. Then that would be a really, really good place. If people want to get their habits and routines sorted, they want to have a simple, broken down strategy for doing so in a way which they'll be able to sustain long term, then it's well worth doing, and it's completely free.
Awesome. That sounds absolutely amazing. So guys, make sure you jump onto, I think they just put your name into Facebook, don't they, Jay? And then it'll come up with your page. Yeah, sweet as a nut. All right, guys, we will drop that in after. It doesn't let me do it from here. Jess, what have you got for everyone?
Right, so I've just finished developing an online membership package. So it is female only, and it is kickboxing with a focus on fitness and fun. So I combine bodyweight exercise mainly with small elements of boxing and kickboxing in the air. Every workout's slightly different. We do 3 classes a week, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. At the moment, I might be looking at putting a daytime option in to be a bit more flexible. 3 pre-recorded workouts that you have access to as soon as you become a member, and they're logged as a back catalogue. So every week it's increasing by 3. So eventually there's going to be loads on there, but now there's 9. And a Sunday afternoon catch-up session. So that's a monthly membership program, but I am offering the first 7 days of full membership completely free to all new members. So if there's any women out there interested in giving that a go, please do sign up. The website is very new, so it's quite hard to find. You have to actually type the link in. If you just Google Fighting Fit Together, you get some weird Facebook page. So it is www.fightingfittogether.com. Hopefully soon it will go up the Google ranks. And then alongside that, I am also available for one-to-one coaching, and I will add that I do coach men as well for one-to-ones and private sessions, mainly women, because it's mainly women that seek me out. And these generally tend to be more technical. So I can actually teach the technique of boxing and kickboxing. They're varied. They depend on what kit you have, what your goals are. And like I said, they can vary from purely fitness to purely technique to a combination of the two. And I offer a free 20-minute coaching call before anybody books any one-to-one private sessions, because I only like to work with people that I think were a good fit, and it's a good chance for us to get to know each other and start identifying their goals and how I can help you. At the moment, this is all through my social media. Again, it will be linked through the show. So if you are interested in working with me on a private level, do feel free to book that in, or do follow the website and sign up for that 7-day free trial. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess. We will drop the link into that for everybody who's following this. So we will drop that in just after we finish very shortly. We done a little bit of it went a bit funny then. We lost Jay for a second. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but we've got him back, so that's good. So yeah, and actually, Jess, absolute hats off to you. Now, if anybody watching this has ever got into a boxing ring or a kickboxing ring or an MMA ring, they will understand how bloody difficult it is. I volunteered I did white collar last year. Some of you might have seen me get beaten up online. And I joined that, just did an 8-week training, jumped into the boxing ring. And my God, even after training for 8 weeks, and I was quite fit anyway, within like the first 3 minutes of being in that boxing ring, I was absolutely knackered. And I think kickboxing, your rounds are longer, aren't they?
No.
They're not
2 minutes.
MMA.
But I actually find boxing more tiring because I suppose I'm conditioned to kickboxing. But my first ever fight, I got as fit as I thought was possible. But at the end of round 1, I went back and my coach will remember me going, my legs hurt so much, that lactic acid in my quads. I'd been doing hill sprints, I'd been doing beach sprints, I'd been kicking stuff, I'd been hitting stuff, kettlebells, everything that I thought got me fitter than ever. But I wasn't fit enough. You also get that adrenaline dump. So no matter how fit you are in your first fight, you will experience this feeling of, oh my God. And it's quite horrible. But it's an amazing feeling once it's over. It's so rewarding to have done something that less than 1% will ever do. Even in the fitness industry, probably about 1% have done. So
you can be as fit as you want, but when you get into that ring, everything changes.
It's such a motivator as well. What Jay said earlier, I don't know how motivated I am just to look good and work out. Well, I know most people go to the gym because they want to improve their physique, for instance. I'm not that motivated towards that. But if you enter a fight and you know in 8 weeks you are going to compete against another human being who wants to beat you and they are working out, that pushes you. When you don't want to do that final hill sprint, you push yourself to sprint as hard as you possibly can because you don't want to get knocked out in a ring. And if there are any motivating factors out there, for me, that is definitely a big one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll ever get back into the ring. I think it's only a certain kind of people that can do that, to be fair. I did enjoy it. I felt great afterwards. I would recommend it to anybody, to be honest. It's great camaraderie. It is, I did the boxing, very much a gentleman's sport. Actually, the guy that I fought, and he beat me in the last round, took me out with a body shot, unfortunately. But I think about 8 or 10 weeks later, I went back again to the boxing ring just to attend, to go and support him. And then I went to go and support him for his third fight as well, where he actually got awarded a belt after winning 3 fights in a row. So you actually do build up quite a lot of camaraderie with the people that you train with, and it's absolutely wicked. So highly, highly recommend it to absolutely anybody. We've got somebody who's going, Steve Mine. We've got a comment there. Every fight is the most knackering yet fun thing there is. And he's got actually a picture there of, I think, him in the boxing ring. So fair play, Stephen. Absolutely wicked. Okay, guys. So the last thing we're going to go on to is we're going to talk about, we've talked about how to kind of get up and get energized in the morning or at whatever time you get up in the day, how to do some fitness at home and keep yourself fit and active. So the last thing we want to talk about is just very briefly, because I know I've dragged you out a little bit longer than I intended, but how to stay healthy at home via what you're eating and what you're consuming. I know we did have a comment earlier on from, I think it was Sarah. I'll find it. Saying she's working out regularly. Oh, sorry.
It was about protein shakes. Like, should she be taking protein?
So we'll go on to obviously about what you would eat and things like that. But if you want to throw an answer into that question, that would be also great. So we'll jump over to you first, Rob. That's all right.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing where people go wrong with nutrition is they try and overcomplicate it. So they think, okay, I'm going to cut this food out, I'm going to cut that food out. Whereas in reality, if say, let's say weight loss is the goal, all they need to do is just reduce the overall quantity. And the other bit of advice I have is picking a diet that you could still see yourself following a year from now. So a lot of these kind of like faddy diets tend to sort of be quite drastic change. But the kind of rate of how many people stick to it is quite low because the changes are so drastic. So when you're picking a diet, it's got to be something you could see yourself still following a year from now. So again, there's no like one diet that is the best diet. It all comes down to which one you can stick to. But as a general rule of thumb, reduce the overall amount of food that you're consuming if you're looking to lose a bit of weight. Look at upping the amount of protein you have. So in regards to the protein shake question, you don't necessarily need to have protein shakes if from the food that you're eating you're getting enough protein. But if you're someone where you've got quite a busy schedule, protein shakes can be quite convenient and can be a convenient way to kind of get your protein intake up a little bit. In regards to things people should kind of be doing at the moment, obviously with the gyms being closed, protein is something that I would say they want to look at upping so they can kind of maintain any muscle they've built, but also it's good for kind of maintaining your appetite. Also making sure you're eating plenty of fruit and vegetables, because obviously the vitamins and minerals that you get from there can be good for your immune system. And just stuff as well, like drinking plenty of water.
Amazing. I think I love how you said about the about diets that people can stick with, and I think me, you, and Jay actually had a little bit of a conversation about this when we might have had a couple of beers at the Four Rain Christmas party, or Now What Live. I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, I think this is one of the things that I said about lifestyle choices, wasn't it? And it's you have to change your lifestyle overall. Going on a diet is very much this is why we have people that have that like yo-yo effect, isn't it? Where they'll go in and they'll say, okay, I'm going on a diet. You do it for a month, you get great results, but then you go back to eating crap again. So it doesn't actually solve anything. So I think, yeah, when that was a great point to put in, that if you're going to do something like that for people watching, to look at it in the long term, get into something that you can see yourself continuing with and eat in long term. Yeah, cool. We've switched the order a little bit, so I'm going to stick to kind of how we're going here. So we'll jump to Jess next, if that's okay.
Yep. So I'm going to follow along from similar lines in that don't try to change your whole diet all at once. Obviously, it depends on what your goals are. If you have a big goal that you need to achieve quickly, then you will have to make some bigger changes. But for the average person that wants to achieve some sort of long-term sustainable weight loss or muscle growth, for instance, you want to focus on creating those healthier habits. Like what Rob said, if you can see yourself doing it in a year's time, then chances are in a year's time you will be succeeding still. If you're following a diet for 8 weeks to lose 2 stone for a holiday, you will just put it all back on and you'll be worse off for it. Almost definitely. Maybe you'll come back and change your life completely, but it's not likely. So it's finding habits that work for you. So with regarding protein shakes, they are an extremely convenient way and extremely affordable and extremely convenient way of getting protein in. And if that works for you to have it after a workout, then that's a great time to fit it in. Doesn't have to be. I usually have one for breakfast, and whenever I'm rushing around and if I need a snack, I have a protein shake. I'm not religious protein shake after workout because I keep my protein up throughout the day, and that works for me. I like to have a meal in the evening with my protein in over a shake. But breakfast, lunch, middle of the day when I'm struggling and I don't have time to cook something, it's a great way of keeping that content up. And I'd just like to use this time to quickly add, I'm currently studying nutrition with the Mac Nutrition University, and I'm about halfway through my studies. And it's got to the point now where I'm working with real clients, learning how to work with real clients and issue them programs. So I'd like to offer this opportunity if anybody wants me to use them as a guinea pig, perhaps, and to do a nutritional analysis and goal setting for them. I would like to offer that for free because I would like to get the practice in with people that I don't know. So if anybody wants to contact me about that and have me help work with them for their nutrition, and then if I could use it for testimonials or feedback, that would be fantastic.
Awesome, Jess. That's wicked. You can sign me up to that. I've tried to commit to so much on the fitness side. There's reasons behind it, but I can't say why on a live, but I'll tell you one-to-one. But yeah, I've also signed up for like this. You might have seen it advertised where you can do these. It's an app you download, you attach it to like your Fitbit or your Apple Watch or whatever, and then you'll do a certain distance. And I think I've done Hadrian's Wall or something. And then when I've done my 90 miles, wherever it is, they send me a nice little like champion medal. Wicked. But it's just kind of, I always like to have like a goal. I hate running. Like, I think this is from the military, and any of the guys that watch this that are ex-military people will agree with me. Running is so boring in the military. Because you can't you can't do anything. The same as you. I absolutely despise running. But I thought if I've got an end goal as somewhere I'm kind of trying to get to, then at least that'll kind of spur me on a bit. So that's
Do you
the
enjoy
reason.
cycling?
Say again, sorry?
Do you enjoy cycling?
Not really. I enjoy tabbing. So do you know tabbing?
Yeah.
Familiar with that?
No.
So for those that don't know what tabbing is, standard tactical advanced battle. We use it in the military, and it's normally where we would put like a big heavy burden or a bag on, and we'd go walking up and down hills as fast as you can, or you might kind of sprint walk, or you just do like a fast walk and do it that way. So I quite enjoy that, but the actual just running on its own does really bore me, and cycling bores me a bit as well. Swimming's a good one, but yeah, I think I lost my train of thought. I went well off piece. Sorry. Jay, we're going to jump over to you now.
Right. So yeah, again, both the guys have already kind of given some amazing pointers there. Absolutely spot on with the same kind of things that I would say. So what I'm going to do is I'll kind of drill into one specific thing that Rob said, just to give maybe some practical pointers that can be used and a bit more insight into it. And that was the kind of the fruit and veg side of things that he said, because he touched on immunity. It's a big deal at the moment because, I mean, immunity is always a big deal. It's something I struggle with massively because I've got a compromised immune system due to some past medical stuff. So it's something I'm really interested in. And it's more important now than ever because we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? There's a virus going around, and so we want our immune systems to be as effective as possible in order to counter that if and when indeed we come into contact with it. And so one of the biggest indicators for a healthy immune system is gut health, right? So your gut biome, although kind of the bacterial colonies in your gut, is one of the biggest parts of your kind of first line of defense, if you like. So it's not just the vitamins and minerals. Like Rob said, the vitamins and minerals, they play a big part in everything in your body working effectively. So yes, having a balanced diet with adequate protein and plenty of water and plenty of fruit and veg, that will help your cells work better. It'll help your immune system work better. Happy days. But also your gut biome is like that kind of first line of defense, not just for stuff in your body in that area, but just it affects your whole body. And there's more and more, it's one of the biggest areas of study in terms of human biology, health science, nutrition is the gut biome. At the moment, that's one of the big things that's being researched. And to tie in with this as well, Jess has mentioned a few times about mental health. That's something else that I'm massively passionate about as well. So me and Jess have got that in common. And there's a lot of studies going into what's called the gut-brain axis, meaning the kind of connection between your gut health and your mental health. And there's a huge amount of evidence to suggest that a healthy gut biome improves your mental health and it reduces your risk of depression and anxiety and all of this stuff. And that's the other strain we're under at the moment. We're not only under an immune strain because we've got a health pandemic, but we've also got a mental health issue because people are having to adjust to losing their jobs or and then their finances going out the window, or worrying about vulnerable relatives, or worrying about themselves, or worrying about the economy. When's this going to go back to normal? There's a huge amount of stress and strain, so we need our mental health to be tip top as well. And both of those things are very much affected by your gut biome. And the biggest factor when it comes to gut health is the variety of different plants you eat. And this goes for whether you are whether you eat meat, or you're vegetarian, or you're vegan, or whatever. The amount of the range of different plants you eat is the number one factor when it comes to a healthy gut. So it's not good enough to eat lots of fruit and veg, but it's only one type of fruit and one type of veg. It's like, I only eat bananas and carrots, but I eat loads of them. That's probably better than nothing. But however, if you eat a wide variety of different plants, then you're going to have a much, much healthier gut biome, and therefore a much stronger immune system and much more resilient mental health as well. So my biggest tip is to try and find ways throughout your day. Again, I focus on habits. So try looking at your meals and snacks that already exist and find ways of increasing the fruit and veg content of those meals. So if you have like a pasta and sauce type meal, then try filling half of the plate or half of the bowl up with a load of salad, and then have the pasta, and then have the sauce, and put more veg in the sauce. Find different ways to get more fruit and veg into the meals you have in your existing routine. Make it simple, make it easy.
I love that, Jay. And we also had a question come in for you just while you were talking about gut health. Would you suggest drinking probiotic drinks like Yakult to improve gut health? Is that something you would do?
Probably not, to be honest. I mean, the probiotic drinks often have quite a lot of sugar added into them, and I haven't got a phobia of sugar or anything. I'm quite happy with sugar. It's not as evil as it's made out to be. However, those drinks, there's better ways of getting probiotics and prebiotics into your diet. So things like cultured foods. So for example, yogurt naturally has probiotic anyway. So if you get live yogurt, or if you're on if you don't eat dairy products, then you can get kind of cultured coconut yogurt, or you can get kefir, which is either made with milk or it's made with water. Both of them have probiotics in them, which is kind of like a yogurt drink, like a kind of like one of those, but without all the kind of added sugar and without the expense as well, because you're not buying these little bottles of it and all the packaging that goes along with it. Or indeed other cultured stuff and other fermented stuff like sauerkraut and kimchi and fermented vegetables have got tons of probiotics in. So including bits and pieces like that in your diet. If you don't like any of those things and you need to have probiotics, if your gut health is particularly, if it needs repopulating, which it might not, you might be fine. If your gut health is fine, then you don't need a probiotic at all. But you can get capsule-based probiotics from supplement companies. If you get a good quality one, Solgar, Viridian, they make pretty decent ones. You can take them as a tablet, and they'll be better for you than the kind of the drinks that are marketed as such. But there's lots of ways of getting probiotics into your diet. And then the prebiotics, which is the type of fiber that the probiotic bacteria use that they feed on, is what you're going to get from the variety of different fruit and veg.
Awesome. Okay, thanks very much, Jay. Go jump in, Jess.
Can I just ask Jay a quick question? Because on a personal level and improving my own diet, I've been looking into using this time to start fermenting. Do you have any resources of how to do it and how best to go about making your own sauerkraut or fermenting foods like, I don't know, kimchi and all these things that are thrown around the kind of holistic health circle? I'm not that familiar with, but it's something I'd like to learn more about.
Yeah, so this is where the internet comes in amazingly handy, because there's some amazing tutorials and also Instagram accounts for people who are kind of experts in this stuff. It's not my area of expertise at all. I tend to buy bits and pieces like that because I've made sauerkraut before, and it was pretty good, but it took a lot of time because it takes a lot of time to ferment. To be honest, it's something I'm looking at getting back into now. Now I'm at home a lot more. My advice is to kind of find some stuff, probably on Instagram and YouTube. And there's a couple of organisations local to me in Devon who do a lot of that kind of stuff, and they do kind of they do like in-person sessions and kind of they teach you how to do a fermenting workshop. At the moment, we can't attend any of those because of everything that's going on, but it might be worth looking at if there's any fermenting workshops near you after this whole thing's blown over, because there's nothing quite like learning in person. But in the meantime, just YouTube's your friend, I would say.
Awesome. That's great insights. Guys, I think we're almost there. I just want to drop in while we were on the subject. There's a client that I work with now. One of the things that I always struggled with when I was trying to get protein into my body was the fact that I hate protein. Like the amount of stuff that all the products used to buy and mix it with milk or water, I just used to think they all tasted absolutely rank. And then we started working with a client, and they're called Myoband. Not sure if anybody's familiar with them. This is them. So they've got this product called Oblivion. Now, this is the best protein I've ever personally found. I don't get paid to market these before YouTube tells me off. I'm not on any affiliate scheme, but we will drop a link to their website if anybody wants to go to it. Eddie Hall uses it. He's their influencer. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 fat, 30 servings, 25 grams of protein. And it's like it's a juice. It's like drinking juice. I've got blackcurrant flavor, but you just add water and it's like drinking a blackcurrant juice. It doesn't taste like anything. Nice. It's actually quite nice. So I would definitely, that would be my recommendation if anybody like me struggles with like drinking protein drinks and they want something that actually tastes quite nice. I'm not sure if you guys have got any products that you guys use that we recommend.
Yeah, I've always used the My Protein range just because they're quite affordable and they've got loads of different products and things that you can choose from. But I have a tip, which is like, don't buy a massive tub when it's a flavor you've not tried. Buy like a small size pack first, so you can try it and see if you like it.
Yeah.
I've got something I'd like to add. So I'm not fussy with protein at all if it's whey. So I've tried My Protein, Go Nutrition, any of the kind of affordable brands. I have tried a few of the more expensive ones, and I don't find that I like them so much more that I want to pay that amount more. And I'm happy with whey. But I do also work with quite a few people that are more plant-based or trying to eat a more ethical diet, perhaps. So reducing their animal consumption, even if they're not necessarily vegan. But the only vegan protein powder that I have found that I do actually like, I don't love it. It's not the same as whey. I haven't found one yet that has exactly the same texture. It still is a little bit grainy, but it is perfectly drinkable. Is Awesome Protein Powders. It's run by Ben Coomber, and he's really up there. I listen to his podcast on nutrition and everything. He's a great guy, and his brand of vegan protein in particular is great if you are looking for that dairy-free option. So that's Awesome Protein. I would recommend. Again, I'm not affiliated to anything, but that's just my personal trying lots of different types.
No, thanks very much, Jess. Right, guys, I think I'm going to let you guys go. We've been a bit over the time that we normally do, but I appreciate it, and I hope everybody else watching appreciates your time. It's been absolutely great. I think they've got some real great knowledge from there. Everything from how to stay energized, how to work out from home, what to eat, what not to eat, some proteins to try, and things like that, or what to do. So I think we've covered absolutely loads. And once again, thank you so much for your time. It's great to have you on. Obviously, what we want to do is we'll share all of your links and everything. So, guys, if you want to get in touch, people watching, if you want to get in touch with either Jess, Rob, or Jay, then please check the comments. We'll have links to everything, and you can start working with them or getting advice straight away. If anybody's catching this after the live, feel free to continue to drop questions, and we will field them out. And when the guys got time, they'll answer them for you as well. So that would be great. Make sure if you do speak to anybody that you think could benefit from watching this video, then make sure you share it with them. We're on everything: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the rest of it, LinkedIn, everything. So yeah, please do share it. Obviously, these lives, we've got some fantastic guests giving up their time to share their experience and knowledge with you. All we ask is that you can obviously pass on, pay it forward, pay the knowledge forward. That's what we ask. So Rob, Jess, Jay, thank you once again for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm sure I'll catch up with you all very, very soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
And for everybody watching, thank you again for watching. And we'll see you all on Monday, 11 a.m. with some more fantastic guests. Okay, guys, peace out. See you later.